Hello and thank you for checking out this video series on HTML for beginners. Now in this video we're going to be talking about graphics, the items that really make your web pages pop. Zip, powy, zing, bang. Now I gotta admit, this is my second recording of this video because my first recording I had almost 10 minutes, maybe even a little bit more of 10 minutes into just showing you the various tools used and how you need to compress your videos, how to compress your graphics so that they load faster on your web pages. And I have to apologize, I trashed that. We're not even going down that road because really, all in all, the way that bandwidth costs nowadays and the technology growing as fast as it is, in no time at all, that's going to be a non-issue. I mean, the graphics doesn't matter if they're so bloated it's disgusting. They're going to load pretty fast anyway because everybody and their grandmother's going to have a T1 line sticking out of the house. Okay, so that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but you get the idea. Graphics, granted, yeah, you still need to be somewhat aware, and I was kind of half joking about the being overly bloated, but you still need to be somewhat aware of the file size, whether it's the dimensions or the actual size of the file in bytes or bits or megabytes or kilobytes, so that for those folks out there that do still have the dial-up, because there's a few of them left, you need to consider them in the fact that you may want them to be your customers as well. So I don't want you to spend a whole lot of time dwelling on how to compress this graphic or how to make this graphic that much smaller so it'll load 10 seconds faster. It's not that big of a deal. A couple years ago, yes, I would have probably gone ahead and spent 20 minutes talking about compressing your graphics, but ain't going to happen today. So with that in mind, I do want to show you a website where, for those of you that are still majorly concerned about this, where you can go and you don't have to download anything. It's just an online service that you can optimize your graphics for web page usage, and it works great. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. The name of the site is called GIFWorks. That's GIFWORKS.com. Here's the URL, and here we have it. I mean, there's a lot of cool tools and toys on here. So if you want to play around with some animation, go for it. But how this works, again, it's fairly simple. First off, the image you're going to be compressing needs to be converted to GIF. That's GIF as an extension. And if you need to or not really sure how to do that, well, one thing you can do is go and find you if you don't have it on your computer already, get a piece of software called IrfanView. Let's go ahead and scope that out real quick here. If I recall, it is IrfanView, I believe. This is free, and it's pretty good. It's very good, actually. That's an understatement. But go ahead and download this. Download the plugins as well. Install it. It takes just a couple of minutes, and you're going to be very, very happy with all the gizmos this thing can do for you. But one of the things, as I was alluding to earlier, is you can convert, you open up your JPEG image for one, and then you can, let's say it's a JPEG image of, well, my dog. And my dog in the backyard with the trees in the background and everything. There's a lot of colors involved, and it can be easily a large file size in kilobytes, even though it may only be, say, 200 pixels wide by 200 pixels high. But it could be easily, 500 kilobytes in file size because so many colors are involved. Well, what you can do is you can open this up in IrfanView. That'll be a JPEG or a JPG, and then just save as GIF, GIF. And then once you got that as a GIF extension, you can go here, and then how do I get started? Just click on this, and then you go to this one here, File, go to Open Up Image, and then down here gives you a couple of choices. If you know a URL of a web page or website that has an image, or what I prefer to do is upload the image from your own desktop. So in my case, in that example, I would upload the picture of my dog that I had just converted from a JPEG to a GIF, and then once it's uploaded, I can go here to Optimize, reduce colors, web save colors, split into frames, all kinds of cool stuff. And again, this particular program does not need to be downloaded, and you can play around with it right here. Plenty of help. And anyway, that's about the extent of my explanation for compression. Now, as far as the difference between the various extensions or formats, be it a GIF or a JPEG or a bitmap or BMP or numerous others out there, PSD, well, you got a boatload of them out there. It varies. Bottom line, a majority of what you're going to be using for web pages is GIF or JPG. The big difference, if you can imagine this, is if you've got colors, a lot of colors, JPEG. Like, for example, a digital image or a digital picture off your camera. If you've got a black and white stick figure, go with GIF. If you don't have a lot of colors, or if it's just a small image, then you can go with GIF. For example, like the little check marks for the bullets on your web pages. Those can easily get away with being GIFs. Not that big of a deal. The JPEG tends to want to compress some of the larger images. Again, I don't want to go too much into that. Just know that GIF is for small for the most part. JPEG is for big for the most part. And you'll be safe. Now then, what I'd like to do now is to show you some of the tags involved in getting your image from your desktop to your web page so the whole world can see it. Now, the main thing to keep in mind in dealing with images on your web page is the exact location. Where's your web page going to be pulling the information from? Probably your server. So you want to make sure that you have the correct URL or the correct path on your coding on your web page to be able to get that from wherever it is to where you want it to be. That is probably your server to your web page. And there's a couple of ways that can be done, either by what they call an absolute URL. Let me just pull this up here and I'll show you. I'll go ahead and pull up the example that I was using earlier on our first web pages. And right here, yes, my first web page. Mind blower, yeah. And let's open that up right here. And this is the exact URL, the absolute URL. It is in my domain name, and in that root directory is a folder called images, and inside that folder is another folder called smileys, and inside that folder is an image named mindblowing.gif. And let me pull up my Qt FTP just to kind of show you what I'm talking about. Now, this is an add-on domain, otherwise it would be just the / mark here. So if you would imagine this, because I just opened this up in my main domain name here, but if you would imagine this being just a /, that would represent the stevedoherty.com. Now again, within that / or that root directory is a folder called images. We open that up, and inside there is another folder called smileys. Open that up, and inside here is the mind-blowing GIF. Okay, so as you can see the similarity here, and just to be on the safe side, since you have to make sure that the case is correct, capitalized or the small letters, that the spelling is exact, you got the right / in the right spot, and if it's plural, you got to have the S, and so on and so forth. It's got to be exact. Otherwise, it ain't going to work. You're going to get one of those broken image icons, and nobody likes that. That looks totally unprofessional. Let me show you this again. And that's pretty much it. Now, what you could do is to get away with this is, as you will see in most cases, you will only have this. If you check out a web page's page source, as we've done before, like for example this guy here, we go to view, go down to page source, this gives you the source of that page, all the source code. As you can see right here, this guy, me, is using the absolute URL. Now that I could get away with just having this in there and it would work just fine. But for the sake of starting off, for all you newbies out there, and I'm not too far from being one myself. It's good practice anyway to get into this. That way you know, and you know it's going to work, and you can test it by simply putting this entire thing in the address bar of your browser, and you can test it. And if you don't get this, if you get a 404 error page saying page not found, then you know that you've got something screwed up somewhere. And it's better to find that out now rather than after you've loaded your entire web page and all the links and all the cool images, and to find out, from an email from somebody saying, hey, your web page looks like crap because you got all these broken image links. It can be embarrassing. So to avoid that, do it this way in the beginning.